Ooh. Ooh. Good morning, everyone. It's a rainy day here, and yesterday Keaton and I took a tour of the Mountain Air Avian Rescue Society, MARS, here on Vancouver Island. And if you are ever in the Merville area on Vancouver Island with nothing to do, take a tour. Really, really interesting. Oh, he drove my car, so nothing's in the place that I want it to be. It's really interesting. We got to see some what they call ambassador birds, which are birds that for some reason or another can't be released back into the wild. So we got to tour their enclosures and hear all about what they do there, and got to see a bald eagle right up close, some owls, 2 albino crows, which was really interesting, and a raven. There was others. It was really, really interesting. And then we went to a street fair in Courtenay. So just a very nice day. Today, on the other hand, because we are having a rainy day, it's chore day. Been doing laundry, and now I'm going to get a few groceries. So I have some news. A couple weeks ago, I told you guys that I was planning on making some big changes as far as work goes, and not last Friday, but the Thursday before, so I guess just over a week ago, I gave my notice at work. Now, I had planned on giving 2 weeks notice. I mean, I kind of wanted to give more, but I didn't know if they would let me go right away or how that would work. So I work for a company that has, we'll call them salespeople. And I do work for the salespeople's clients. I have to be vague right now because I'm still working. And what I'm going to be doing is freelancing for a number of the salespeople that I am currently working for. So the rules have changed a lot in how they can use our services, and it's becoming a lot more complicated. So it's becoming more and more frustrating for them, and more of these salespeople and their sort of groups are hiring in-house versus using our services, because our services are provided by the big company. They pay to use us, but anyways, so I've got 3 that are going to be my main salespeople that I will be freelancing to, doing the same work I'm doing now. And then there's another 3 that I will be also working for, but probably not as much. So I'm going to be busy as I want to be. But I hadn't told anybody, and except for obviously the people that I'll be working with. And just to go back a bit, one of the 3 that I'll be working with, he was the one who approached me with this idea, and we started talking, and then I talked to somebody else who's doing that, also freelancing to a group of salespeople, to figure out how they were doing it. And so that's how it came about. And then once I was talking to him, I kind of mentioned it to a couple of other salespeople that I work with regularly and really love working with, just to give them the heads up that I was thinking of leaving. And they asked what I was going to be doing. I explained it, and they were like, well, can you continue to work for us? We would love to have you, we'd continue to work with you. But other than those 5, I hadn't told anybody. So I get a text on my work phone, and his text was, hey, I hear you're leaving. I'm really sorry to see you go. I've really enjoyed working with you. Please keep in touch, that sort of thing. And so all I did was reply, how do you know that? So then he phoned me right away, and he's like, oh my God, was I not supposed to know? I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I wasn't supposed to know. I was told this. so I asked him, who told you? And he wouldn't say. He said, I don't want to get that person in trouble. But we talked a little bit about what I'd be doing. And he's like, I'd really love to continue to work with you. Could I be one of the salespeople that you work with? And I'm like, well, I don't want to be too busy. I don't want to be like swamped crazy, because that's what I'm trying to get away from. But we'll stay in touch. Once I'm up and running, I'll reach out to you. And he said, yeah, here's my number. Give me your number outside of work. I have since found out that he and one that I'm going to be working with, one of the original three, are really good friends, and apparently they gossip. Like a bunch of old ladies sitting on a stoop is how they gossip, apparently. So I realized that I had better tell my new manager in Toronto, because I'm on Vancouver Island on the West Coast, and they recently split the West team in two and gave half of us to the East and half of us to Quebec. And so now my new manager is 3 hours ahead of me in Toronto. So I realized I probably need to give him a heads up, so that he doesn't, since the gossip is out, so that he doesn't find out from somebody else, because he doesn't deserve that. He's actually a very nice man. And so I sent him a message a week ago Thursday. Now, my new manager is, like I said, a lovely person. And when we had our conversation, and I told him I was giving notice and that my last day would be August 14th, he asked what would I be doing. I gave him just the general outline, not specifics. And he asked, can I ask, what led up to making this decision? So I was very honest with him that our previous manager since the pandemonium started, is a good person, but just not a good manager. And, all of the things that I had been dealing with. And also, just that since I've been on this new team and seen how the dynamic was, I realized just how poorly we were being managed, and what a difference it was. And I said to him, like, if you had been my manager all along, speed lumps, there's a 90%, 95% chance I wouldn't be making this decision. But that's not the experience that we've had. I experienced just a lot of poor management, a little bit of ageism because I'm the oldest one on the team, and just, favoritism amongst our team. There was one person on our team that she was obviously the manager's favorite. Not the employee's fault. It's the manager's responsibility not to do that. So since then, this last week, I've been sort of getting ready to transition my files. There's 7 files that I'm going to finish up. And that means, having the conversations with the clients, doing the work, and then presenting the work. And so it's going to be busy for I've got 3 weeks left. But I'm confident I can do that. I'm also confident that I can transition the files I haven't started, in a very organized way. Here's the thing. We all have our superpowers, right? My superpower is organization. I know, really boring superpower, but it's my superpower. And so I am super, super organized. And, managers already said this, like, wow, this is just making my life so much easier. I've already had a couple of transition meetings with the other people that will be taking over the files I won't be finishing up and all that. But I gotta tell you, it's been so nice. So nice that it's out. They haven't done a formal announcement. That's coming out next week. Monday, tomorrow. But it's just been so nice that everybody knows on our team, because even though I don't anticipate ever wanting to work with this company again, I never want to leave on bad terms, because the world is a very small place and our industry is a very small place and our reputations are really important. And I have worked hard, very hard, in the 10 years at that company and the 15 years in this industry to build a good reputation. And so I want to make sure that I'm leaving my current role, very professionally and on very good terms. But I gotta tell you, I have been sleeping like a baby. It's not that I was uber stressed before, because as you know, my theme for this year is to care more and care less. So, care more about the things that really are important and care less about the things that aren't, including, work. But it's just so nice to be able to just speak freely and plan and not have to worry about, I don't know what I was worried about, but how it goes, right? So yeah, so that's done. And the countdown now has begun. Anyways, I am super excited, as you can tell. But because it will take me a few weeks to get me set up, I'm going to have a few weeks off, which will be a nice break before I get started. So yeah, it's real, it's happening. Interesting that when I read back in my journal, it was March of 2025 that I wrote, that's it, I'm done. There'd been a really bad experience where I had done a bunch of work. Well, it was a shit show. It's the best way to describe it. And I got thrown under the bus. And that was the day I decided to go. And I had planned originally on being done at the end of December 2025. But then Keaton decided to move to the island. And I lent him money to buy his trailer. And, everything was sort of up in the air. There was just too many changes. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to put it off. So that meant I got my bonus in March, which was good. I was going to wait until the beginning of September. But then I thought, no, I'm going to wait until I'm going to do it earlier, and I'm going to do it at the end of August. And then I thought, why am I waiting? I'm so bored because things were really slow for a period there. Let's push it up to the middle of August. And that's where we are today. So there's a lot to sort of get organized for going freelance. Luckily, that's my superpower, as I said. I've already talked to an accountant to be sure I can understand whether or not I need to collect GST, goods and services tax, which we have in Canada, for what I bill, as well as PST, provincial sales tax, because two of the salespeople I'll be working for are in different provinces than I am. One's in Alberta, one's in Saskatchewan. I'm in British Columbia. BC and Saskatchewan both have provincial sales tax. Alberta doesn't. So I need to understand when do I need to start collecting GST? Do I need to collect and remit PST, that sort of stuff? What sort of things can I expense? So that's good. I worked as a bookkeeper when before I had Shiloh, when Keaton was just a baby. And so I'm well familiar with how to keep books and keep track of expenses and sort of that sort of thing. But I also am building a binder of resources because I've created a lot of resources, a lot of templates and such for the work that I do, that for my own use. So I'm building a binder with all of those, and so that I can be ready to go. So that's kind of fun. But other than that, nothing's going to change, except now I get to control my schedule and my workload 100%. I would much rather work from 7 till 5 Monday through Thursday and have Fridays off. Or I could work from 7 to 2 every day of the week. I can do whatever I want, right? I take on as much work as I want. And if I'm at capacity, I say, no, I can't take that file. That's the understanding. That's the best part of this. So at first, I'm just going to be as busy as I can be because I need to get settled in. I need to have my first sort of send out my first invoices and get my first payments so that I can start seeing what cash flow looks like, and then I can dial it down. But the goal is to be, quote unquote, semi-retired. Not working full-time hours, not being on call 7 days a week. Not that I'm on call now, but like available for work 7 days a week, but just have that manageable level that brings me in the income that I want and need, but gives me more free time. I'm going to be 61 in September, and by 65, well, you know what? Who knows, right? When you love what you do, and I really do love what I do, maybe you don't retire fully, right? You keep doing a little bit of work, just keep your brain active and generate a little income and just keep busy and talking to people and such. It will be really nice working closer with each of these salespeople and their clients, and streamlining the process, because right now I have to follow a specific process and template. But when I'm freelancing, I can streamline that and make it a lot smoother, more concise, more targeted, and faster. So I can get through these things a lot faster when I don't have to follow the old company process, which will be really nice. I've given a lot of thought to how I will invoice, what I will charge. I talked to the other person who's also doing this. Ironically, he interviewed me. He was my old boss's boss. When I interviewed with the company, he was her boss. And so now he's semi-retired and he's doing this. And so he's given me a lot of advice as well. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. And I'm very excited. And I cannot wait for my last day. I'm going to be very focused and get everything I need done. But then it's going to be celebration. In case you're wondering what we're doing today, I was doing laundry earlier, and today we're getting some groceries. We don't need a lot, but I am buying a new rice cooker because the one I had bought from the thrift store is not working anymore, and so it was $3. So I'm going to buy one. I'm not going to buy a high-end one, but I do like a rice cooker with a steamer basket, and so I think I'm going to get the Black & Decker. And then I just need a few things, some frozen fruit for smoothies, a few other things. Not much today. I do need to pick up a prescription. Hello. Yeah. I've been wanting to try this protein powder for a while for smoothies. Just throw in some blueberries, some water or oat milk, and it's made in Canada. It's vegan. It's supposed to have the best texture, not grainy like some protein powders. And for like quick smoothies, quick snacks and breakfasts when you don't feel like eating but you're a little hungry. Well, I'm home. I got my rice cooker and I'm putting away my groceries. Come on, bananas. So, oh, and look, I've started, you guys are going to laugh at me because of how pathetic I'm sure this looks to those of you who have a real garden. But look, I've started to get some tomatoes and one pepper. These are sweet peppers, though they look like a, I don't know what. But yes, started to get some tomatoes, so that's very exciting. There's a lot more on the bush, but they haven't ripened yet. So I'm very excited about that. But anyways, thanks for listening to me ramble today. I just wanted to share with you the news about, giving notice, because that's a huge step for me. And if you know me in real life, you know I don't like change. So this is a big deal for me to make this big step, but I am also the kind of person that takes a long time to make a decision. But once I make a decision, I rarely change my mind. It's usually the right decision because I've taken so long to make it. So anyways, so I'm going to wash all the pot and everything for my rice cooker, and I'm going to make rice for dinner with something. So anyways, guys, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're staying safe. Remember, in a world where you can be anything, be kind, including to yourself. I love you, and I'll see you next time.